Hey, what's going on, guys? And welcome back to Kova, FIFA, transfer gossip, you name it, I will be doing it. And today we are doing a Man U FIFA 17 squad prediction, what the ratings are going to be, and if they're going to get like position changes or anything like that. This has been requested, so let's get into it straight away. We're going to start off with De Gea. He was an 86 on FIFA 16. I think he will get a upgrade of 2 to an 88. Now, if you look at Neuer, for example, who is the other standout keeper in the world, I think. And he's had many good seasons and has ended up as a 90. De Gea's had a few, so I think 88, and he may possibly get an 89 if he does well at the Euros. Moving on to Darmian. Now, this guy absolutely boggles my mind. Crazy season at Man U, wasn't that good. But then plays for Italy in the Euros against Belgium and has an absolute stormer of a game. So I've gave him an upgrade of 1. I think he could actually potentially be Man U's new right back if Mourinho sees fit. I think he's a good player. He just needs to hold down a regular starting place. I have a coach that says you are a good player, and I think he will do well. Next up is Chris Smalling. Obviously had a very, very good season. In terms of the start, kind of faded away a bit and got worse and worse, I suppose. But he started off as an 82 on FIFA 16. I think he will get an upgrade to 83, most likely 84 because of that brilliant start that he has. And he obviously got a team of the season at 88, so you're looking at, probably at least 84 rated. Next up is Daley Blind. I've changed him to a centre-back because that's where he played for most of the season. And he's also got an upgrade of 1. I think it was quite a strong season for him. Obviously, first season in English football is never going to be easy. We've seen that with Firmino. He struggled at times and then got his feet. And I think Daley Blind done exactly the same thing. Played a few different positions and then found his feet next to Smalling and kind of forged a okay partnership for Man U in an area where they were really struggling to begin with, to bailing them out quite a lot. Next up is Luke Shaw. His card on foot. Well, I've given him a +2 just because I think he was very, very promising at the start of Man U career. Obviously, until that unfortunate leg break against PSV Eindhoven. I think he's got age on his side. I think if he was fit, he probably would be playing left back for England right now. That's how good I think Luke Shaw is. I think his card was underrated, so I've put him up to a 79 even after being out for most of the season. Next up is Schweinsteiger. He actually gets a downgrade of 1, and there's only one reason for this. He didn't really play much. Well, 2, I suppose. He didn't really play much, and then also his age. Naturally, players his age tend to just get a slow decline downgrade. I think Gerrard was 87 at one point and is now an 84. And I can see the same thing happening to Schweinsteiger, especially if he doesn't play that much. Going from an 86 to an 85 here, maybe in a FIFA, in a season or 2, he'll go down to an 84 and so on and so forth. So for now, 85 for me. Next up is Schneiderlin. He basically doesn't change. I think he's a fantastic player. He just didn't play. It really is that simple. You can't really get an upgrade for not playing, and the only reason why he didn't get a downgrade is because I think he is that good. Next up is Wayne Rooney, another player who doesn't change rating for me. The only thing he does change is formation. I don't think he was that good this season, and I think obviously changing formation, not being the main man up front kind of didn't help. I think he's been off the goal trail for a season or 2 now, and he's kind of hit it, by scoring pens, getting the odd goal here and there to kind of keep him off, his own back basically. And now he's really found his new position, either as a centre attacking mid or a centre mid himself. He had a great game for England against Russia, where he was unlucky to come off really. He was pulling the strings in midfield. Too many crossfield balls for me, but apart from that, him in centre mid looked very promising. I think that's where he will play for Man U as well. Next up is Jesse Lingard, who had a fantastic season. He goes from a 71 rated silver player to a 75 non-rare gold. I think he deserves that gold rating just because every time he played for Man U, he tended to be, the catalyst for them to play well. And I think that shows when he kept Matarazzo at the team. Next up is James Wilson. Now, unfortunately, I can't get Rashford's card. It just doesn't exist. That's how out of nowhere he has appeared from. James Wilson was a 63 last season. I bumped him up to a 74 after a promising loan spell at Brighton where he bags a few goals and they were unlucky to not get promoted. I think Rashford will start off as a 74 as well, mainly because obviously he's brand new to FIFA. He's seen that with Bellerin, who was playing for Arsenal and ended up getting a 74 when he got put into FIFA 16. And I think the same thing will happen with Rashford. I think he'll start as a 74 and possibly get an upgrade to a gold player. Next up is Anthony Martial. He obviously got a few Team of the Weeks that ended up getting him from a 79 to an 81. I've actually gave him an 82 card on FIFA. I think he's a fantastic player. I think he was a bit... They've obviously overpaid for him, but let's not forget he is only 19. Is it 19 or 20? He's well, can't be bothered working out the age, but he's very, very, promising player. Got obviously a good 10 years ahead of him. So if you look at that type of, deal, paying that much money probably will pay dividends in the end. And obviously he's getting a nice little upgrade on FIFA 17 for me. We start with the bench and we start with Phil Jones. So much promise for this lad. I was watching him play for Blackburn before he got bought. Obviously, Liverpool and Manchester United were both interested in him. He ended up going to Manchester United. I'm disappointed in the guy. I really am. He just didn't fulfill his promise so far, and he's getting a -2 for me, going to a 78 for FIFA 17. Next up is Marcus Rojo. Didn't really have the best of season. I wasn't set crazy about him. He was just okay. He filled in at left back, obviously not his position, but he was just okay. He wasn't that good, so he stays in an 81 for me. Doesn't deserve downgrade, but in my eyes, doesn't deserve an upgrade either. He may go to the left back card after that's where he played most of the season. Next up is Depay. He gets a downgrade for me. Obviously, a bit of a poor season for him. Only the odd game where I thought, oh yeah, that could be the type of player that Man U actually paid a lot of money for, but he ends up going from an 81 to a 79. Next up is Mata. He stays at an 84 for me. Was an okay season, had a few very good games, and was just okay for the rest of them. So, not really worth an upgrade. Definitely not worth a downgrade either. 84 for me. Okay, so Januzaj stays at a 75 for me. Again, hasn't really done anything this season. Went on loan. Dortmund had an absolutely horrible time and ended up getting sent back. I think he does have promise though, so that's why he stays a 75. Moving on to Carrick, he has got a heavy downgrade actually from 80 even to downgrade of 4 to 76. I just think he's had a very poor season. Don't know why Man U have kept hold of him, to be honest. I think he would have been better going to MLS and having a good season there or two, rather than trying to stay at Man U. I just don't think he's that good of a player. I think 80 was overrated for him anyway. I think he would have been better at 78 on FIFA 16, but knocking him down to a 76, he might, depend. It might have even been the manager, but he had a really poor season for me, and that's why he has gone down so heavily. He is older as well, so he will get a heavy downgrade anyway because he's 34. Next up is Ashley Young. He also gets a downgrade for me. He goes from an 80, which is way too high rated for him, to a 77. I think he's an okay player, but again, he's another one that's getting on a lot. A lot of these players are getting on a lot for Man U. Next up is Romero. He stays at 76, backup goalkeeper. Came in and played very well when he was needed, so not a bad player for them. Next up is Herrera. He also stays as an 81. Again, more of a backup player. Had a few good games, got on himself an inform. So I think he deserves to stay in an 81. May go to a rare, but apart from that, the usual. Then Fellaini, he stays at a 78. I think I've left him at that just because I hate him for using his elbows. Like, if there's an aggression, it would be like 105 at least, because he is just a nasty player, but I think he is a dangerous player as well, not just because he elbows everyone. So he stays at a 78. And then finally, Varela, he was a 63, so he gets an upgrade of an 11 for me. 11? Wait, what? How was I 11? No. He gets an upgrade of 8 even, to a 71. I think his pace should be a lot higher. He looks like a really pacey player. His only bad game was against Liverpool when he got, obviously, Coutinho on his side and got ripped and then taken off at half-time. That was really a good move to ruin a player and his confidence. And then this is what the team would look like. Obviously, it'd be Rashford instead of Wilson, but apart from that, that's a pretty strong side as it is. Not forgetting we've got Bailey to come in here, and probably another midfielder, and possibly another winger maybe. See who Mourinho signs. As always, guys, let me know what you think in the comments. Let me know if you think any differently, if the player's too high rated, player's too low rated. I think, in terms of whether they go up and down, I think they're pretty much spot on for me. Obviously, I am doing it, but I just think, it's just the way it is. A lot of those players play badly for Man U. They had a bad season. to pay was probably the most disappointing. But as always, guys, if you did enjoy, like and subscribe, and I shall see you in the next one.